A carnage-causing trucking company has been shut down. But how soon before it's back in business? David Menzies for Rebel News here in beautiful Brampton, Ontario. And folks, the official slogan for Brampton is the Flower City. But you want to know something else? Brampton is home to a multitude of shady trucking companies that hire incompetent truckers. The end result? Carnage on the road. But for now, at least there is one such trucking company that is no longer in business, and I speak of LD Transline Limited. And folks, believe it or not, this house behind me, this single family dwelling, is the address listed for LD Transline. More on that later. In any event, the crux of the matter is that LD Transline was recently stripped of its operating license in Ontario, and that's a very good thing. LD's sins were many, including countless safety violations and falsifying the number of hours drivers were on the road, meaning that in many cases, drivers would be exhausted while driving their 80,000-pound rigs. Yeah, I know, what could go wrong? According to a Toronto Sun report, drivers at LD continued to cook the books even after one of the company's drivers caused a fatal multi-vehicle pileup back in January 2025. And just how bad was LD? Well, check out the words of Michael Bouchen. He's an adjudicator for the License Appeal Tribunal, and he stated the following, quote, "In my view, the persistent nature of these defects and the fact they involve multiple drivers points to a systemic issue that betrays a concerning level of apathy towards safety and affords reason to believe, having regard to the appellant's safety record, that it will not operate a commercial motor vehicle safely or in accordance with this act, the regulations, and other laws relating to highway safety." In fact, the events of January 15th, 2025, which involved several hours of service violations that preceded a 15-vehicle collision involving 16 people and a fatality, served to underscore a striking failure in the appellant's highway safety performance. While I accept this is an isolated incident, I nevertheless agree it figures prominently when viewed against the violation history of the appellant, which features repeated hours of service violations, end quote. And you see, the reason why LD Transline was appealing to the tribunal was the fact that its certificate of operation was revoked in January of this year by the registrar of vehicles. This came after the company was charged with additional road safety convictions in 2025. At the time, get a load of this, the register called this carrier, quote, "the worst of the worst." Indeed, LD had an overall violation rate of more than 100% and had been in non-compliance since 2024. Now, the owner of LD, his name is Mandeep Singh, and he argued unsuccessfully that he had taken all kinds of steps to improve the safety of his fleet since that tragic accident occurred. This included reducing the number of trucks from 8 to 3, conducting semi-annual inspections and monthly maintenance checks, implementing driver training, and using a better electronic system to monitor his driver's hours on the road. But get a load of this, folks. Despite these measures, the safety record of LD didn't improve. It actually further deteriorated. Unbelievable. Now, we reached out to Mr. Singh via email to get his side of the story. That was several days ago, and I have received no response from him. So that's why we decided to pay a house call to LD Translines Limited. And I have to admit, I was somewhat surprised that we didn't end up in some industrial park, but this quiet residential neighborhood in Brampton. And the headquarters for the trucking line, as you can see, is a nondescript single family dwelling. In any event, why don't we knock on the door, see if anyone's home, and see what Mandeep Singh has to say about his company's odious safety record and the fact that, well, his company is no longer allowed to be on the road anymore. Well, folks, how do you like that? Not only is nobody home, but I couldn't help but notice this big for sale sign on the property. I think it's a fairly new listing because it says on the top, coming soon to Treb's MLS system. So it appears that Mr. Singh has gotten out of Dodge, if you will. And it would also appear that TD Translines is what the Ontario Trucking Association refers to as a chameleon carrier. What's a chameleon carrier? Well, basically, the definition is a commercial trucking company that shuts down after receiving safety violations, financial penalties, and or out of service orders. Then the company illegally reopens under a new name, and guess what? Business as usual. And that's the big question here, folks. How soon will it be before Mandeep Singh establishes another trucking company registered to a different address rather than this one? Will his incompetent drivers wait for him to establish that company? Or for all we know, they might already be employed with other illicit trucking firms. As my source in the industry says, the two biggest costs when it comes to trucking is wages and fuel. You can't do anything about fuel, but you can undercut wages of true truckers, real truckers, competent truckers by hiring people that don't know what they're doing and paying them about $15 an hour. I'm not kidding. $15 an hour to drive an 18-wheeler with all the safety repercussions that come with it. And also, you have to wonder, when LD was around, what exactly was it hauling? As my source said, you don't think they were delivering parts for General Motors, do you? No, what he was getting at was the potential for these truckers to be involved in organized crime. Drug dealing, gun running, human trafficking, you name it. So at the end of the day, LD Transline Limited is out of business. But how soon is it before Mandeep Singh and company are back in business? Translation, expect the carnage on the roads of this province to continue. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, I know you love it when Rebel News brings you the other side of the story, but we need your help. Unlike the mainstream media, we do not receive a single nickel from the Mark Carney Journalism Slush Fund. So can you do me a favor? Can you go to rebelfieldreports.com? That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation so we can continue to bring you that other side of the story.